This is First Coast News on your side.
Why am I being handcuffed?
The governor's in town and a local activist was led out in handcuffs. We're live on your side with more on this situation.
So will the next generation of cell phones make landing a plane even more difficult? Why two phone companies are pushing back the 5G revolution.
And a First Coast News exclusive here from local viewers stuck in their cars in the snow in Virginia on I-95 for nearly 24 hours now.
That is a nightmare, my gosh.
Well, thank you for being with us here at noon. I'm Katie Jeffries.
And I'm Keitha Nelson. Welcome in. So we're going to get back to that breaking news with Brent Frazier in just a bit with a live report. First, though, we have got to talk about the surging COVID-19 numbers across the state of Florida and the country. They're breaking records right now.
Here are the three things you need to know this noon. Johns Hopkins University reports that the U.S. saw an estimated 1 million new cases of COVID-19 just yesterday alone. The CDC reports Florida's daily case numbers as given to them by the State Department of Health. But no updates have come down since December 29th.
Well, we know at least 40% of flights into and out of Jacksonville International Airport are delayed, some even canceled. A part of that is due to ongoing impacts from winter weather up north, but rising COVID cases have also hit flight crews with many workers now out sick.
And number three here at Duval County Public Schools, field trips have been suspended for at least this month, and capacity is limited at events. But a state law says public schools cannot require students to wear masks.
I think the protocols are unnecessary, but if other people feel comfortable instituting them, as long as they don't interfere too much with what I have to do and what my kids have to do, if it makes them feel better about it, that's fine.
Well, private Catholic schools in the Diocese of St. Augustine have required masks for students at all schools starting this week.
And back to our top story at this hour, the Northside Coalition President Ben Frazier demanded his chance to ask Governor Ron DeSantis some questions in Jacksonville this morning. Well, it ended with him in handcuffs. So the governor and Surgeon General Joseph Ladapo were set for a news conference planned to begin at about 10:15 this morning, but that was delayed as Frazier refused the staffers' demand that the room be cleared of anyone who was not credentialed media. Well, on your side's Leah Shields. She was there as it happened. She was live tweeting the entire event.
So, Leah, was Frazier charged with anything?
So I'm waiting for our assignment desk to independently confirm, but I am in touch with Florida Rising, one of the members of that activist group who is good friends with Ben Frazier, and they tell me he has been charged with trespassing and that he is about to be let out of the jail. We do have a crew there, so waiting to independently confirm that, but that's what we're hearing right now. But nothing was verbally said, so this is where the whole situation happened, where he was put in the cruiser right outside this building, which is a state building, a public building. But no Miranda rights were read when we were out here. There was a large group of us out here at that time. We didn't hear the officers say the reason for his arrest at that time. Now, I should have video coming up. I want you to see what led up to this situation inside of the room where that press conference was supposed to happen. We sat waiting for it to happen, and there were people inside from Northside Coalition, Harriet Tubman Freedom Fighters, Florida Rising, Taking Down Jacks, and they were just sitting there when a man who identified himself as the governor's aide, Alex Cronin, came into the room saying anyone who is not credentialed media must leave. Now that's when Ben Frazier stood up for his right to be in a public building and ask questions of a public figure.
Here to hold this governor accountable.
Sir. Yes. I do understand.
We're here to hold the governor accountable.
But there are proper ways to do it.
What's the proper way, sir? Not to follow our First Amendment rights? Public expression, sir, is critical to a functioning democracy.
I'm not arguing that, sir.
This governor has stood against our rights to protest and to assemble peaceably.
You're probably wondering, why were these people here up in this building earlier today? Well, they actually came here because they wanted to talk to the governor directly about COVID testing options in Jacksonville. They want more resources for their community. They say people are dying and people are sick, and they're very concerned. Well, the governor later giving that press conference in a separate building, a completely separate room with nobody but the media in there, and he did say that he'll be increasing testing once he gets the resources, as well as bringing another monoclonal antibody site to Jacksonville. When he was asked about Frazier's arrest, he said he was not going to comment. Live in Jacksonville, Leah Shields, First Coast News on your side.
St. Johns County says it stopped taking people at its testing site near State Road 16 and I-95, closing 4 hours early because of long wait times on Monday. The site at the Wind Mitigation Building is now open 7 days a week. Today, you can go there from 7 to 4. Now, they say walk-ups are welcome, but they urge you to make an appointment online. Governor DeSantis says people should not get a test if they're vaccinated. But in Duval, there is a new record. Neptune Beach COVID-19 testing site reached capacity when it opened this morning. Right as it opened, it was already at capacity. On your sides, Renata DiGregorio shows us where you may not have to wait.
Here in Neptune Beach, the Telescope Health COVID-19 testing site reached capacity when it opened, the fastest they've reached capacity ever. They're only doing 250 tests a day because demand is so high. They'll be blocked off for the rest of Tuesday, but they reopen Wednesday morning. And you can tell demand is high because just across the parking lot over here is an urgent care center where there is a line out the door of people waiting. Now, there are lines all over the place, but we have been hearing of places that do not have them that you can get tested at. At Overflow Alliance in Moncrief, they say they have no wait lines at their sites. Their clinic at 3416 Moncrief Road and at their grocery store called Making Ends Meet at 4220 Moncrief Road. Avicena Medical's Dr. Saman Soleimani says they can test 600 people a day for COVID-19.
My staff would call me at 8 a.m. and say there are 40 people standing outside, and that's just not feasible.
They're no longer scheduling vaccinations.
Because we do not want to clog up the waiting rooms for something that patients can get in many places.
No appointment is needed at the Agape Health testing sites at Lane Wiley Senior Center or Clansel T. Brown Community Center.
We recognized that it was important for us to make sure that we stayed.
Make sure you check whether or not you need an appointment first. You can find the whole list of where you can get tested on firstcoastnews.com. In Neptune Beach, Renata DiGregorio, First Coast News, on your side.
And let's clarify some things, folks. Remember, you can still catch the virus even if you are vaccinated, but health officials say symptoms are much less severe and infections are far less dangerous if you have received your shots. We are on your side, helping you find a place for your family to get vaccinated. You can text the word vaccine to the number right there for you on your screen, and we'll send a link to your phone with that information. Well, people spending nearly an entire day stuck on the interstate. This is such a nightmare. How long they could be stuck as winter weather continues to cause some major problems.
But first, an update on a local father accused of killing his son. What happened during his court appearance today.
And a nice view in downtown Jacksonville with plenty of sunshine, a few clouds building, and they'll continue to build overnight. But for now, temperatures sitting pretty in those mid-60s.
And welcome back. So, Duval County man who allegedly shot and killed his own son back in November has pleaded not guilty.
Otis Anderson Sr.'s next court date is set for February 1st. Anderson was arraigned this morning in Jacksonville. He is charged with second-degree murder in the death of his son, Otis Jr. According to a JSO police report, Anderson Sr. admitted to getting a gun from the garage and said the argument began after he was bitten by Otis Jr.'s girlfriend's dog. Now, Otis Anderson Jr. was a football star at University Christian and the UCF Golden Knights football team. The team paid tribute to Anderson ahead of their Gasparilla Bowl win over the Florida Gators last month with a helmet decal honoring his memory.
New video from overnight. Jacksonville Fire Rescue put out a fire on Dixon Auto Transport. That's the name of the business. It's along Phillips Highway at Hudnail Road. Now, crews were able to put that fire out quickly, but there's no word yet on an exact cause. We do know no one was hurt.
Two 17-year-olds from Clay County are facing charges after police believe they were involved in a deadly shooting. It happened this weekend in the area of Claremont Avenue. Both of those young men have been taken into custody. One is facing a murder charge. The other has been charged with evidence tampering and accessory to murder.
Well, demolition for the Berkman 2 building has been pushed back once again. It was scheduled to happen this coming Saturday. Our news partners at the Florida Times-Union reports the company that owns the property says this latest delay is because of insurance paperwork. Well, a new demolition date could come out sometime this week.
A pause for the newest cell phone technology. Why some officials are worried about 5G impacting airlines.
Well, AT&T and Verizon have both agreed to delay the rollout of next generation cell phone technology. Here's why. 5G, set to launch Wednesday, is now scheduled to debut in 2 weeks. That decision reportedly comes at the request of Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. Now, airlines have been concerned the more powerful cell phone signals could interfere with pilots' instruments that they need to safely land the planes. Right now, our airlines don't need any interference whatsoever. All right, folks, it's annoying to sit in traffic, you know, on I-10 for even just, 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, but in Virginia, people have been stuck on I-95 for more than 20 hours. I mean, approaching 24 hours at this point. This is some new video from Virginia taken this morning showing the long line of cars and trucks just sitting on I-95. This all began kind of around 1 o'clock yesterday. The line of storms that dumped snow on the Beltway caused crashes on the highways, and snowplows have been struggling to get the roads cleared. Now, we spoke exclusively with Joy Galley and Jackie Vivaldi. They live and work here on the First Coast. They were on their way home from visiting family in New Jersey, and they got caught in this mess. Now, they say it's scary because they really haven't been getting any updates on when the interstate could reopen, and they have not seen any first responders coming by to check on people.
Where is the help at the government level, at that official level? Because on the radio, we're hearing that they don't need to declare a state of emergency. They don't need the National Guard. They have enough here. But being stuck on 95 for 20 plus hours doesn't seem like there's enough here to help us. Luckily, like we said, we were somewhat prepared because we were already taking a long trip. There's people who are stuck here who were trying to get either to or from work last night or to a friend's house and have their children, so they don't have anything with them. I mean, it's going to freeze again tonight. So if we're still sitting here and people are still out of gas, what happens night two that they're freezing? There's no food, there's no water. I mean, you can only last so long on 95, right?
Now, they say they have some cookies, crackers, water, and Gatorade, as well as some dog food, and that's what they think could maybe last them until later tonight. But after that, they don't really know what they're going to do. And they say they have seen officers drive by in the one small lane that has been cleared. That's just been used for officers. They tried to wave one down to help a nearby driver, but he drove past them. And they also say calls to 911 aren't being answered. So it's pretty scary for them right now because they say they're just not getting any information on when that stretch of I-95 will reopen.
You know, you see a video like that or read the stories and you think to yourself, what if you were in that situation? As you mentioned, besides animals, there's some people stuck in that with children, small children. You can imagine not being able to feed your child when they're hungry.
The elderly, people who are diabetic. I mean, what a disaster.
To get that together. All right, let's check it now with meteorologist Lauren Routenkrantz.
And like they said in the video, Katie, it's supposed to freeze tonight, so those roads will continue to remain icy. The snow will stay on the ground, and actually, Virginia is expected to see more snow as we head toward Thursday and Friday of this week as well. So hopefully those folks can get home and safe sooner rather than later. You can see all of those snow reports within the last 24 hours. And even down here, Brunswick, because of those really gusty winds yesterday, a report came in of some downed trees out there. Now, this high pressure continues to pull off the mid-Atlantic. So for Virginia, it's going to be calmer and quieter tonight, which of course leads to those colder temperatures. For us, we've got those breezy winds out of the northeast that are wrapping around that high pressure. So if you've taken a walk outside today, it's very pleasant, but it definitely is quite cool out there. You've got to get the blood pumping a little bit to warm yourself up. You can see those winds are sustained right around 15 to 20 miles per hour along the immediate coast. That backs off to about 10 as you head west. Temperature-wise, we're sitting in those mid to upper 60s across North Florida, cooler in those upper 50s, lower 60s across southeast Georgia, and we aren't going to warm up too much more. I've got 65 when we're all said and done throughout the day today. The clouds are going to continue to increase as we head throughout the afternoon, and it'll be a bit cloudier by the time we are watching the sun set. But those skies will clear and the clouds will break apart throughout the day on Wednesday. Our next front begins to arrive Thursday and into Friday, and that will drop our temperatures once again to end off the work week. Now, as we head into the weekend, I'll be watching this next front that's going to be arriving by late Sunday and into Monday. That's going to add a better chance for showers into the picture, because for now, we're really just talking about some isolated rain chances along the immediate coast today. And then once again, as we head toward Thursday, mainly for inland areas and across southeast Georgia. But that next best chance of rain will arrive with a cold front with a bit more moisture associated with it. And again, this is likely to be more along the lines of a Monday timing, but something to keep an eye out for, especially for late Sunday night. Then this polar high pressure will begin to pull in behind it quickly, and look at these isobars. My gosh, it's going to be cool and breezy as we watch that rain dissipate next week. Now, you might be already thinking about the weekend, because why not, right? It is looking like we'll see some of our warmest days in the next 7 on Saturday and Sunday. And again, Sunday, I believe the rain should hold off, so enjoy the sunshine while we've got it, all right? A little bit of a roller coaster ride for those temperatures. Again, it was a cold start this morning, a little bit more mild tomorrow morning, near 50 degrees as that wind pulls in off the ocean. But then as we head toward Thursday and Friday mornings, even Saturday, starting off once again in the 40s.
Hope you're excited. We certainly are, folks. We are less than a month away from the 2022 Winter Games in Beijing. Now, the first competitions start February 2nd. That's right around the corner.
And then the run up to the games, we are previewing members of the team, Team USA, of course, with their eyes on the gold, like snowboarder Maddie Mastro.
All right, will she do the double crippler again? Up and over 2 times.
Maddie Mastro with a beautiful run here.
You'd be surprised. The snowboard community really likes to play soccer. Oh God, I'm scared. That's all I got. Oh, where does it end? My name's Maddie Mastro. My sport is snowboard halfpipe, and I'm from California. So, my dogs, I love them. They're all mutts, first of all. Just all rescues, island of misfit dogs. Oh my God! So ugly, they're cute sometimes. We've got Archie, then we have Beasley. We got Zodi, she is 80 pounds of just cuddles and love. And then we have the newest addition, Stevie. She's got a lot of personality. And I think if she was a human, she would look like Stevie Nicks. Hi, it's Maddie Master here. For me, social media is a platform that I like to use to inspire others and try to post to get people to learn about snowboarding. I think that's important for young girls in particular, to have a place to go and see someone and look up to someone, and that's what I've been striving to achieve.
So it's about 7,400 miles from Jacksonville to Beijing, a quick trip. But you don't have to go anywhere. The Olympics are only on NBC 12 starting in February.
You're watching First Coast News on your side.
Well, thank you for staying with us here at 12:30. Here's what's happening at this hour. 2 17-year-olds from Clay County are facing charges after police believe they were involved in a deadly shooting. It happened this weekend in the area of Claremont Avenue. Both those young men have been taken into custody, and one is facing a murder charge. The other has been charged with evidence tampering and accessory to murder.
A Duval County man who allegedly shot and killed his own son back in November has pleaded not guilty. Otis Anderson Sr.'s next court date is set for February 1st. Anderson was arraigned this morning here in Jacksonville. He's charged with second-degree murder in the death of his son Otis Jr., a football star at University Christian and the University of Central Florida.
Does this sound familiar? Demolition for the Berkman 2 building has been pushed back yet again. It was scheduled to happen this coming Saturday. Our news partners at the Florida Times Union report the company that owns the property says the latest delay is because of insurance paperwork.
And the USS Milwaukee is back at sea after an outbreak of COVID on board forced them to delay in port at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. Now, the Milwaukee, based out of Naval Station Mayport, had been in port in Cuba since December 20th. All sailors on board have been immunized.
So that is a quick look here at your latest headlines. Now let's go over to meteorologist Lauren Routenkrantz for a look here at the forecast.
Hey, good afternoon, ladies, and everyone else joining us on this terrific Tuesday. We've got quite a bit of blue sky across the first coast, but also noticing some clouds beginning to really move in. They'll continue to roll in offshore and onshore throughout the afternoon and into the evening hours. 64 degrees out there with a breezy northeast wind. The closer you are to the coast, the gustier it is, and it feels a little bit cooler thanks to that wind. In downtown, you can see a few clouds out there in the distance, especially to the east, and also in St. Augustine, that stratocumulus deck is continuing to flow onshore. That's looking at the Bridge of Lions on those weather stem cameras. So our futurecast also showing those clouds into the rest of the afternoon, but we do remain mostly dry. Most of the offshore showers will remain indeed offshore. A couple of them grazing the coastal areas, but for the most part, we are going to remain dry. Our next best chance of showers won't arrive until later Thursday, and that's mainly for areas along I-75 in North Florida and for areas across southeast Georgia, and that will be brief, really into the late afternoon or evening hours as a cold front moves through. Yesterday morning we were near 70 degrees, and folks, as you were waking up with us on GMJ, we were near 40 degrees this morning. A tale of two mornings, right? It definitely was a lot colder out there, but things are gradually warming up in the next day or so. 64 right now at the airport, 67 in Craig Field, 68 at Cecil Port. They started off at 39 degrees this morning. 68 in Ponte Vedra, 66 in Fruit Cove. We head down toward Putnam. We're at 67 degrees in Hawthorne and 69 degrees in Palatka. Headed up 95, Camden Welcome Center sitting at 63 degrees. The farther north you travel, up toward Waycross and Blackshear, a little cooler in those upper 50s. In just a bit, we're going to take a look again at the warm up on the way, but when we could see our next significant chance of showers, maybe some rumbles of thunder. Katie?
And remember, we are always on your side, whatever the weather. You can get Jacksonville's most accurate forecast in the palm of your hand with a First Coast News app. It is free in the App Store or the Google Play Store. Now we are following breaking news in Duval County, where a planned press conference by Governor Ron DeSantis was disrupted by a local activist.
Northside Coalition President Ben Frazier demanded that his chance to speak with the governor, Ron DeSantis. He has some questions for him this morning here in Jacksonville. Well, it ended with him in handcuffs. The governor and Surgeon General Joseph Ladapo had been set for a news conference planned to begin at 10:15 this morning, but that was delayed as Frazier refused a staffer's demand that the room be cleared of anyone who was not credentialed media. Well, on your side's Leah Shields. She was there as it happened. In fact, she was live tweeting the entire event.
And Leah, we have just learned that Frazier says he was charged with trespassing after a warning and was read his rights in jail for about 45 minutes. Is that right?
That is correct. We have a crew at the jail who are talking with him right now. We're actually going to have his interview at First Coast News at 5. I want to set the scene for you here because this is where the news conference was supposed to happen. This is a state building, therefore a public building. And this right over here is where he was arrested and where he was placed into a JSO cruiser. Now, giving you some context as to what led up to this, well, inside he was there. He's with the Northside Coalition, along with people from Harriet Tubman Freedom Fighters and other organizations like Florida Rising and Take 'Em Down Jacks, sitting in the briefing room along with other media, news stations waiting for the press conference to happen. A man who then identified himself as the governor's aide, Alex Cronin, he said his name was, came into the room saying anyone who was not credentialed media needed to get out. That's when Ben Frazier stood up for his right to be in a public building and ask questions of a public figure.
People are here to hold this governor accountable.
Sir. I do understand.
We're here to hold the governor accountable.
But there are proper ways to do it.
What's the proper way, sir? Not to follow our First Amendment rights? Public expression, sir, is critical to a functioning democracy. This governor has stood against our rights to protest and to assemble peaceably.
The public who came here to the meeting today told me that they wanted to talk to the governor about COVID testing and resources. The governor did eventually have a news conference, sort of without warning or notification, in a building down the block. So a separate room altogether. And the governor did say that he plans to bring more COVID testing to Jacksonville once he gets the resources, as well as open another monoclonal antibody treatment center. When he was asked about Frazier and the arrest, he did not comment. Again, I want to tell you at 5 o'clock tonight, Kaylee Tracy has an interview with Ben Frazier as he was released from jail. You don't want to miss that. In Jacksonville, Leah Shields, First Coast News, on your side.
St. Johns County says yesterday it stopped taking people at its testing site near State Road 16 and I-95, closing 4 hours early because of long wait times on Monday. The site at the Wind Mitigation Building is now open 7 days a week. Today you can go from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Walk-ups are welcome, but you can make appointments online. Governor DeSantis says people should not get tested until they are showing symptoms. Meanwhile, in Duval, there's a new record. The Neptune Beach COVID-19 testing site reached capacity when it opened this morning. As it opened, it was already at capacity. On your sides, Renata DiGregorio shows you where you may not have to wait.
Here in Neptune Beach, the Telescope Health COVID-19 testing site reached capacity when it opened, the fastest they've reached capacity ever. They're only doing 250 tests a day because demand is so high. They'll be blocked off for the rest of Tuesday, but they reopen Wednesday morning. And you can tell demand is high because just across the parking lot over here is an urgent care center where there's a line out the door of people waiting. Now, there are lines all over the place, but we have been hearing of places that do not have them that you can get tested at. At Overflow Alliance in Moncrief, they say they have no wait lines at their sites. Their clinic at 3416 Moncrief Road and at their grocery store called Making Ends Meet at 4220 Moncrief Road. Avicena Medical's Dr. Saman Soleimani says they can test 600 people a day for COVID-19.
My staff would call me at 8 a.m. and say there are 40 people standing outside, and that's just not feasible.
They're no longer scheduling vaccinations.
Because we do not want to clog up the waiting rooms for something that patients can get in many places.
No appointment is needed at the Agape Health testing sites at Lane Wiley Senior Center or Clansel T. Brown Community Center.
We recognize that it was important for us to make sure that we stayed.
Make sure you check whether or not you need an appointment first. You can find the whole list of where you can get tested on firstcoastnews.com. In Neptune Beach, Renata DiGregorio, First Coast News, on your side.
Now, remember, folks, you can still catch the virus even if you're vaccinated, but health officials say symptoms are much less severe and infections are far less dangerous if you have received your shots. We're on your side, helping you find a place for you and your family to get vaccinated. You can text the word vaccine to the number right there for you on your screen, and we'll send a link to your phone with the information that you'll need. Well, today students who qualify were able to start riding JTA buses free of charge. So this is a part of the new My Ride to School program. This is for middle and high school students in the Jacksonville area attending Duval County public, private, or charter schools. Now, this is for Monday through Friday use from 6 in the morning to 7 in the evening. Students must show a valid school ID. The pilot program runs through May 27th.
And let's take a quick moment to recognize this Orange Park police officer. So he is being praised by the department and online after helping a young boy to safety. So this was posted on the police department's Facebook page. They say that Officer Faircloth pulled the boy out of the St. Johns River after he jumped in. Officers say the boy is experiencing a mental health episode. He was taken to the hospital for an evaluation, but of course, a round of applause here for Officer Faircloth for helping out that young man, probably saving his life.
Definitely so. All right, folks, coming up, Congress is preparing to mark the anniversary of the January 6th insurrection on Capitol Hill. Just ahead, we're looking back at the investigation into exactly what happened.
election. He was going to sell us out all along. Objection to counting the electoral votes of the state of Arizona. Can I get a photo of that? Wait, no, that's actually okay. All right, I'm pissed. He's with us.
So this week marks 1 year since a mob of loyalists to former President Trump stormed the U.S. Capitol in an attempt to prevent Congress from certifying Joe Biden's legitimate election win. Well, now the investigation into what happened and who knew what was coming that day is circling around the former president, his inner circle, and even some Republicans in Congress. NBC's Garrett Hake is in Washington with a closer look at this hour.
The insurrection investigation focusing ever tighter on what former President Trump did and did not do as the deadly January 6th attack unfolded.
The committee has firsthand testimony that President Trump was sitting in the dining room next to the Oval Office watching on television as the Capitol was assaulted. That is clearly a supreme dereliction of duty.
Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney also revealing multiple advisors asked Trump to intervene, including Republican leader Kevin McCarthy and the former president's daughter.
We have firsthand testimony that his daughter Ivanka went in at least twice to ask him to please stop this violence.
The bipartisan committee probing the actions of Mr. Trump and his allies in and out of government now seeking testimony from some congressional Republicans, along with White House aides and Stop the Steal activists. Since its creation last summer, the committee says it has interviewed more than 300 people and collected more than 35,000 pages of documents, including emails and text messages, while still battling the former president in court for more White House records. A spokesman for the former president telling NBC News the committee is, quote, obsessed with waging a political war against President Donald J. Trump. In the past year, 725 people have been charged with crimes related to the attack. The FBI says they're still looking for 350 more people they believe committed violence on that day. On Capitol Hill, a new police chief says reforms to how the Capitol Police collect and share intelligence and train officers have made the complex safer, but challenges remain.
What keeps you up at night now?
Right now, probably 200 officers below what we had pre-January 6th, and we're 400 below what we really need today.
46 minutes now past the hour, folks. So Representative Cheney says that the panel is planning weeks of public hearings to lay out the evidence that they found during the probe. Meanwhile, Congress is scheduled to hold a day of remembrance on Thursday to officially mark the anniversary.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Meteorologist Lauren Rautenkranz here. I hope you are enjoying your Tuesday. We've got, again, a very wintry forecast for our friends up across the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast here at home. That high pressure is continuing to push off the East Coast, and that means we've got those breezy northeast winds around it. And so today, if you're walking around town, you definitely feel those winds. They're sustained closer to the beaches from the Golden Isles down through Mayport, down towards St. Augustine and Palm Coast, between 15 and 20 miles per hour. Now, those northeast breezes are going to lead to more mild temperatures overnight, although it was a very cold start, shall I say, for most of us inland this morning. Now, also those northeast breezes bringing in a couple of coastal showers like we spoke about on Good Morning Jacksonville today. One moving across northern St. Johns County right now, and a very light sprinkle headed out toward the Nocatee-Durban area. But these are going to continue to head toward the west and pretty much fade after they pass over the river. Temperature-wise, we're sitting in those mid to upper 60s, lower 60s, even upper 50s in places from Waycross to Brunswick. So the farther north you go, just a little bit cooler. They'll remain clearer overnight, but the clouds will continue to creep in across Jacksonville, and those temperatures again closer to 50 degrees as we're getting our Wednesday started. The sky will clear throughout Wednesday afternoon, and we've got sunshine on the way both Thursday and Friday, but we've got a couple of shower chances on the way. Better chance of rain though for the area is going to arrive as we're headed toward the Monday time frame. So we've got plenty of time to watch this next front, depending on the timing of it as well, and if we've got enough instability, we may have a rumble of thunder or two. Behind that next front, again, we're talking early next week, is another polar high pressure that will build in and drop those temperatures, keeping things nice and cool So a bit of an up and down with those temperatures, but an up in the forecast on Saturday and Sunday. Perfect weather for the Healthy Start 5K at Jax Beach. That starts at 8 a.m. Lower 50s along the coast, but we're going to be talking about inland 40s, upper 70s by Sunday afternoon. So that is my pick day to get out. Enjoy the sunshine before that rain arrives on early next week.
Our brand is facts, not fear, and we're on your side breaking down one common claim that most healthy people get over the virus within a week or so. Our Verify team is looking closer at the potential risks of long-term illness.
It's hard to believe, but this will be the third year of COVID, so by now you're familiar with the immediate symptoms, a sore throat or a loss of smell or taste. But scientists are still trying to learn more about long COVID. That's when symptoms outlast the infection. This tweet has tens of thousands of likes and retweets claiming, quote, up to 30% of people who get COVID suffer from long COVID. Let's verify. Is that statistic accurate? Our sources are Brian Lau, a professor of epidemiology at Johns Hopkins University, and Dr. Greg Vanishkashorn, a long COVID expert at the Mayo Clinic. First, the author of the tweet sourced that 30% stat to this peer-reviewed February 2021 study, published in the Journal of the American Medical Association. The study included 234 people with COVID and found that 30% had persistent symptoms 6 months later. And while the sample size is small, our experts said the study is reputable. Dr. Lau said overall 30% is a good estimate, and Dr. Vanishkashorn said about 33%. However, remember that paper was published back in February, and the actual research was conducted between August and November of 2020, so over a year ago. Since then, more studies have come out. A Mayo Clinic spokesperson sent us 2 and called the findings, quote, more ominous. This November 2021 study of 200 people hospitalized for COVID-19 found that about 40% still reported at least one symptom a year later. And this October 2021 analysis of 57 international studies found that 54% of patients still reported at least one symptom after 6 or more months. So researchers continue to learn more about long COVID, which makes it hard to give an exact estimate. But our experts say yes, at least 30% of COVID patients may suffer from long COVID. Now, what's interesting is the long COVID symptoms range. Those symptoms could be anywhere from a loss of senses up to symptoms that cause incidences of pain. And like most things in the pandemic, we will continue to learn more as more studies roll out. With Verify, I'm Matt Gregory.
Well, 3 big NFL games are going to be happening this weekend on the channels of First Coast News. First, the Kansas City Chiefs trying to win the AFC's #1 seed, taking on division rivals in Denver. That's on Saturday at 4:30 on ABC 25.
Immediately after that, the Eagles hosting the Cowboys. Dallas is set, we know, still eligible for the #2 seed in the NFC. That kicks off at 8:15 Saturday night on ABC.
And then on Sunday night on NBC 12, another rivalry out west as the Chargers take on the Raiders in Las Vegas. The Chargers are holding on to a wild card spot, but Vegas could take it with a win on Sunday.
All right, ladies, the 7-day forecast. It's a little up and down. So this morning was a little cold, but don't worry, we're going to be near 70 Wednesday and Thursday. And then the weekend, Keitha, near 80 degrees on Sunday.
Thanks, Laura. We'll see you at 5. You know the deal, Lauren. I love it.
Bye, y'all.